The dream of having kids can turn into a nightmare for couples battling infertility. In vitro fertilization is the answer for many, but it's expensive, as much as $15,000 to $19,000 per cycle, and insurance usually does not pay. Tonight in the Fox Files, a unique alternative dubbed Mini-IVF. It's a cheaper, easier on the patient, and is getting similar results. John and Serena Hare of Peoria, Illinois, planned to start a family when they married in 1993.
We just thought we'd have kids right away. It never happened.
It's just kind of an empty feeling, you know, that this probably won't be in our cards.
John had good insurance that helped pay for 3 cycles of in vitro fertilization, tens of thousands of dollars that produced only disappointment.
So the financial part wasn't nearly as hard as the emotional side.
Oh, it was very hard, very difficult time in our lives.
Their last round of IVF was at the Infertility Center of St. Louis at St. Luke's Hospital, and that's where the Hares were offered a new option, something called minimal stimulation protocol, or Mini-IVF.
So what it involves is a lower dose of drugs, reducing the cost of drugs from maybe as much as $5,000 to $8,000 down to about $500.
So now I need to clean all this stuff off.
A regular IVF cycle might produce 15 eggs. This low-dose protocol using the fertility drug Clomid produces a fraction of that, reducing hospital, lab, and doctor's fees. So the whole thing will cost around $8,000, about half of traditional IVF.
I'd check on it tomorrow to see if it was fertilized.
With this approach, we just get the 2 or 3 good eggs that the patient has in her ovaries for that cycle, and we fertilize them just like with regular IVF, but it's 1/5 the amount of work.
Since Clomid can temporarily hurt the uterine lining, the embryos are saved for transfer later.
So we freeze them, and we transfer them in a natural cycle a month or 2 later, whenever it's convenient for the patient.
To avoid any damage, the embryos are frozen using a new technique from Japan called vitrification.
You want to get as much water out from the cells as you can.
As the water is drawn out, special antifreeze solutions are added. The embryos are plunged into liquid nitrogen to drop the temperature drastically.
We drop it at minus 23,000 degrees centigrade per minute. So it's instantaneous freezing, and what happens is the water inside your cell doesn't really have time to crystallize and form ice.
And they're kind of like freeze-dried.
It becomes solid, but it doesn't become ice. You're not damaging the cell at all.
Serena says the minimal stimulation protocol was easier than traditional IVF.
It was a lot more simple, not as many medications.
And it produced maximum results.
They told us we were pregnant, and I just bawled. I just cried because it was very emotional.
This really is, Tom, a dramatic development for couples who are thinking about going through in vitro fertilization. The cost, for one thing. But one thing that really stood out to me was this freezing process, because couples who go through regular IVF and say they freeze whatever embryos they're not used that cycle, they're still damaged when they're thawed, but that's not the case with this.
Right, and Dr. Silber explained it to me, is that it is frozen so quickly and much quicker than the traditional IVF, where the temperature is lowered more slowly. This is like flash fried, or flash frozen actually,
Right.
flash frozen, and it is so quick that it doesn't have time to crystallize, form ice crystals, which are what damage the embryos.
And the bottom line, you have a better chance of getting pregnant, and that's what the whole process is about.
Yeah, well, he says the pregnancy rates are about the same, but for some people, this might be an answer because of the cost, about half of what the traditional costs.
All right.